and welcome to the SMEFocus show powered by MTDCNC. I'm Mark Weymouth from the Centre Specialist Plus Automation. I'm your host this week to highlight an aspect of UK manufacturing and things of interest, in particular to SMEs. Today I have a returning guest with Dr. Evgenia Yakushina from the National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland, or NMIS for short. NMIS is a high-value manufacturing catapult, being a joint skills academy and a centre for manufacturing excellence. This episode is something of a special feature, as Evgenia will talk about and I hope explain aspects of AI engineering regarding manufacturing. Hi Evgenia, welcome to SMEFocus.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be a returning guest, and it's basically highlighting that NMIS is going through new exciting challenges and bringing the nature of these developments to the manufacturing society.
Brilliant. So it's only 5 months ago since you were last a guest, so thank you for coming back on. Can I therefore ask you to do a quick recap about your love of engineering and manufacturing?
Yeah, so I suppose if you have a look over the last year or so, quite a big attention has been paid to the energy sectors and the manufacturing challenges associated with this, and it driven us and our customers, and support that been requested by the large number of SMEs been associated with the implementation of circularity principles. So we've been working towards the remanufacturing and reuse principles. So that brought us to the development of the Value Retention Centre. So that's the end result of a couple of years of different sorts of activities and fundings. We've been working between big players like Howdens and BAE Systems. And it brought us to the new avenue, how the local UK supply chain could be strengthened through the implementation of the currently available manufacturing technologies like the additive manufacturing and reused and recycled material implemented through this process in order to repair the part. Quite a lot of the questions been associated with the development of the skills and bills of material programs as well. But we obviously can't avoid the very necessary question, which is associated with the development of the current stages of the manufacturing, remanufacturing, whatever is the need, which will drive us towards the optimization, efficiency, and becoming more smart, resilient, and sustainable. And it brought us to the AI. So recapping over the last couple of years, we that's not a secret that biggest need was associated with the much more cost efficient and energy efficient manufacturing. So that's where we've been working quite actively in order to use the same basis of the process, make them more optimized, use the different sorts of the materials, implement those strategies for the short term and long term, so it will be accessible, resilient, and efficient, depending on the complexity of the parts, depending on the broadening of the scope and variety of the different sectors and implications. And that's where it brought us with an understanding that the mainstream activities of the digital factory, which is part of the National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland, which been looking towards the automation and optimization and design work, independent robotic and pilot lines associated with those manufacturing developments actually need to be driven in a much more intelligent and automated way. And that brought to the program and development associated with a rather digital type of approaches, and they mainly associated and driven by the AI principles. So that's kind of a recap.
Okay, fantastic. More generally, just before we start talking about AI, can I ask you just to explain a little bit about National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland and how it came about and its broader aims, and then we'll get into the detail of AI?
Absolutely, yeah. National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland, as you said, that's one of the HVMC high value manufacturing catapult centres. We also associated with the University of Strathclyde as a main legal entity of NMIS. But NMIS represents five specialist centres. One of the oldest and one of the biggest centres, mainly dealing with the forging and forming process. So the heart of the forging and forming sits within AFRC, Advanced Forming Research Centre. It mainly concentrates on the metallics, but also associated with the lightweighting, resource efficiency, material evaluation and analytics with regards to the properties and future behavior of the real components, but also quite a few programs looking towards the current needs of the manufacturing industry, such as recycling of the swarf of the machine swarf and compacting, forging them into the billets. And our latest advancements and achievements in the fast forge program show that actually this recycled material having even better properties than we could expect from the initial forged billets, which is quite exciting. And the other ray of the developments associated with another very massive big program. It's one of the biggest forging units across UK, which have a trial mode, so you can do closed die, open die, and that's the thermal type of the forging. But the biggest advantage is it's fully digitalized. So the concept which I was highlighting previously, associated with a couple of years of the activities, exactly implemented in this project called Future Forge, where rather powerful machines with the multiple different type of the operations and manufacturing stages coupled and analyzed and simulated digitally. So we have the full digital twin of this process, which is also very importantly, and that's quite a big question for the industry right now, given an opportunity to switch between different type of the heating technologies. So we know that gas furnaces is a mostly broadly used on the large manufacturings, large to medium to large manufacturings, let's say, and our unit is complemented with the gas and electric furnace, so we can optimize the process or the heat treatment associated with the subsequent manufacturing and forming stages and simulate it digitally before it will be going to the real operations. So that's the one. Second one associated with the composite materials predominantly, it's called Lightweight Manufacturing Center, and quite a lot of activities obviously associated with the production of the components from the composites, but also with the recycling. So our fluidized bed is the only one which allows cleaning and purifying of the recycled carbon fibers as a non-stop process. So the continuity of the process gives a massive advantage that you do not need to chop the fibers. You are very flexible in terms of the lengths, and that's a continuous process allowing you recycle quite a big batches comparing to amount of the recycled material, carbon fiber material, which we expecting from the industry. Second one, third one, Manufacturing Skills Academy. All these technologies are brilliant and developments are even better, but we need to have people who can implement them and who can be trained and understand how this process works. So that's what Manufacturing Skills Academy are looking for. They developed a new program which called PASS Pre-Approved Talent Scheme. And this program is looking towards the using and capturing those talents who implemented who applied for the internship or for the different apprentices type of the jobs, but they've been, let's say, second to the best. We call them silver medalists, but it's a shame to lose those talents. And in Manufacturing Skills Academy, we are developing a tailored program for them, so we can cover this gap, which didn't let them to be a winner on a particular interview. And covering this gap, we have fully fully prepared specialist, which will satisfy all the requirements. We also have DPMC, so I said already quite a lot around the digital technologies and the pilot lines and robotic and automated, so how the test beds could be implemented for the advanced manufacturing technologies. And the last one is the digital factory, where majority of the process associated with the digital design and implemented for the subtractive or the additive type of the process. So that's the whole family of NMIS.
Cool. Okay. So on to the agenda for today, AI, and trying to get you to educate us in a short period of time. So can I kick off by, I guess, asking a starter question? What role does AI play in modern manufacturing, and why is it considered a game changer?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Mark. And we heard quite a lot of pros and cons, lots of considerations and lots of reservations around the main question: AI, is it good or bad, and how to use it, how to control it, how to implement it. In general, AI fundamentally transformed manufacturing, and we can see it right now pretty much everywhere in every single sector. And it's the bonus of it. It's a real-time analytical tool. It's an opportunity to have a predictive maintenance, and that's a very big question. That's an opportunity to have a process in real-time process optimization, and these type of the interventions which is happening in the process and use not fancy robotic machines and large modules, but it's mostly based on the data-driven approaches. These type of the technologies were not widely available just a few years ago. So the main approach of AI is basically landed on the collection of the data. So that's sensoring, that's collation of the production data to identify some manufacturing patterns and production patterns, to have a predictive maintenance that's quite important for the ongoing processes where we have the 24/7 manufacturing. And that's the opportunity to have an optimized production flows. So looking at the top of the questions which usually bother SMEs and other type of the productions, where I can cut my cost, where I can optimize my manufacturing, and looking into the energy increase and energy usage and switch and becoming a more sustainable and resilient. That's where AI stepped in as an analytical tool, which enable all these changes through the data analysis. Implementing the AI approaches for manufacturing, from our perspective, what we see for quite a good number of the manufacturing strategies, the trial and error approach is a known practice. And that's where AI changing it, using the data, using the skills that has been implemented into the process parameters, implementing the information around the hardware and software. It gives more predictable, reliable answer. So that's it allows operator to have the test changes in the control environment. So that's not a intuition-driven process or intuition-driven or skills-based driven optimization. It is a less risky, much more controlled type of the optimization, optimized solutions. Therefore, yes, as usual in all developments, there are pros and cons. You really need to be considerable how you're doing it, how it's implemented, what's the final goal, etc., etc. But the way how it could significantly speed up those changes, how it can transform the manufacturing patterns, flows, and models, and optimize the quality at the same time. that's where the game changing is happening.
Could you give some examples of how AI integration enhances efficiency and quality of manufacturing?
I certainly can. I suppose I will reference to one of our projects that we are running. It's called Call-Up, and although the main purpose of the Call-Up is basically the upskilling type of the exercise. So we have around 300 of the local engineers who's been going through the Call-Up courses, and they've been trained in the main principles of the coding, but those training been aimed been aimed with the delivery of the projects associated with the optimization. And depending on the type of the company, depending on the type of the manufacturing that they are doing, projects been really different. So for one of the companies where representative been from the human resources, the optimization been concentrated on the analytics around the skills of the employees and how it's matching the profile and future expectations and growth patterns and expansion for the company. So basically, it was the database created, which consumes the data around the experience, skills, additional qualifications, number of work. So what is the current CV? What is the current skill set and background of the workers? How they fitting into the current manufacturing pattern, and what sorts of the improvements can be done. So that's basically a tool, a analytical data-driven tool that has been implemented to improve the HR practices within the certain manufacturing service. Another one, we have a customer who's been investing into the cutting machine. And it was quite substantial investment for the size of the company, and expectation was that return on the investment will be achieved within a couple of years. But after the first year, it was clear that about 30% of the expected figures been achieved. The analysis that we performed on this data been concentrated mainly on the collection of the manufacturing patterns and practices, how many parts, how frequently, what was the change between the shifts, etc., etc., etc. So quite a lot of data being cleaned, prepared, and collated into the database, and then with the subsequent programming and routines. It was a simple conclusion that the main loss of the time is happening between the changing of the different operations associated with the different types of the parts and components. So it's really hard for people who mainly associated with the unit and they are doing their jobs because they've been given a description or the orders are coming in, to have this integral view. But that's where what AI can do all the sorting and analytics. At the end of this story, we've been able to optimize this process rather quickly, up to 70%. And that's immediately changing the forecast and return on the investments from this company to the units which they've been implemented. And the final one, analytics with regards to the procurement practices. Believe me or not, but procurement actually for manufacturing is, and I'm sure you know this very well as well, based on the experience of your own company. So it's quite rare when you have the total understanding and especially the bigger number of the parts you are bringing in or the components of the raw material you're bringing in onto the shop floor, and then see how many suppliers, when they delivered, what was the delay, what was the increase in the price, how many need to be procured in the future. So all these systems usually been manipulated and analyzed, sometimes manually, sometimes through the Excel table. So that was a hard work, not quite particularly accurate, not really predictive. And that's where, again, AI could step in and see where the frequency is higher than in another cases, suppliers, components, whatever, the set criteria you're putting in. And that's basically identified what should be the optimized financial, procurement, and operational strategy for the company. So quite a lot of the different examples, as you can see, from HR to manufacturing to the procurement, but that shows the breadth of the opportunities that could be implemented if you have the right tool in your hands.
Okay, very interesting. What do you think are the main challenges, contrast challenges and opportunities for AI in manufacturing?
Yeah, I would say the challenges, like I've highlighted a few opportunities already, but let's speak about challenges. And I think that's what people need to be rather considerate about. First of all, AI, yes, it is intelligent and a self-learning tool, but predominantly on the first stages, it depends on the data. Therefore, the critical and crucial step will be associated with the quality of the data, because that will identify what will be the quality of your output. Quite a lot of people have a very random understanding in terms of what is the data, what is the database, and how it needs to be cleaned, prepared, and structured in order to become a ready material for the analytical tools. Data sometimes associated with the whole pile of the PDF files that customers sharing and saying, we have all this information for the last 10, 15 years. That's the set of the PDF documents. On you go. That's not data. And sometimes data need to be rather going through very intensive preparation and the cleaning processes. So the initial stages, sometimes associated with the manual collection of the critical numbers, and most importantly, in the discussions with the companies, as we found it out, you need to understand what will be the crucial categories that will be used for the decision-making process. You can ask any question and you can receive any random answer, but that's not the purpose. Therefore, the initial exercises, which we usually going through with the companies that was with us on the journey, being associated with the training and explaining to people what is the data. Other people saying that we are brilliantly prepared and we are fully aware. We are very good in terms of the digitalization of our data, and we have all the data logs, etc., etc. The excessiveness of the data sometimes not a very good parameter, or let's say the very good factor either, because it might blur the picture and it might blur the answer. So the concentration on the specific categories, specific parameters, that's what needs to be understood. And sometimes it needs to be really learned and explained through the process with the customers, because they are the owners of their process. They know how it works. So that's an educational element. And the next challenge, as I would say, will be associated with the skill gaps. Ideally, for the future needs, you need to have a person who understands both sides of the question, who understands process, how it works, and how it could be advanced through the AI. That's why we kind of started from the reverse end and said, right, we know what are the opportunities of the AI. We do have our principal investigator, Andy Sherlock, who's been spending about 30 years in the data-driven analytics for manufacturing. And the first step which he decided to implement is basically train those people. So we have a 10-week course, and people attending this course on the basis 1 day per week. And in between those weeks, they are having different assignment projects. So we are basically treating them as students. It's not a big commitment. Some of them a bit more experienced and familiar with the programming, but it gives them an opportunity to go through the educational stages, and then in the middle of the program, starting to work with the assignments. They are working on the real projects, which is driven or proposed by their company, who basically sponsoring this type of the activity. Therefore, at the end of this story, they do have new set of skills, which is very good for them. That's a development. That's a person, as I described to you at the beginning, who is aware about the process, who is having the second bit of the AI education. So that's a complete unit. And most importantly, they immediately implementing this knowledge to the real-time projects. And this project is also driven by the company. If company having an opportunity to assign some real the basis type of the issue or the area where it could be optimized, within these 10 weeks it could be sorted out by the local person, and they haven't all of these qualities: the qualified person, new analytical tool, understanding around the data, and the results as a which is provided as a solution in this course. So potentially that's the, let's say, transition from the challenge to the opportunity that could be developed.
Okay. How many of the companies you've worked with are SMEs? And I guess a more general question, what advice would you offer SMEs about starting a journey towards utilizing AI?
Yeah, I think this journey, well, it looks scary. Let's be honest. Everything which is unknown, it looks scary, and it looks really as a questionable area. Do I really need it? Potentially, it's just another soundboard, and in a couple of years it disappear. Maybe yes, maybe no. But what I can tell you now, if you are an SME company, you definitely going through similar type of the challenges, or similar type of thinking, which is associated with the resource optimization, quality optimization, process flow optimization, becoming more sustainable, becoming more resilient, move your manufacturing towards the smart factory principles. If you've been considering this type of the approaches, which is mainly been supported by the robotics, by the digital twinning, quite a lot of people being concerned in terms of the investment. That's a new robotic cell which will cost a lot. Do I need it? How it will optimize? How I will embed it? How I will train my people? Same with the digital approaches. Okay, digital twin, powerful tool. It's not trial and error anymore. Now AI is a connecting point, which will be based on the information that you already have in your hands. AI will be a solution for you to understand which data you need, how this data needs to be captured, how it needs to be treated, and most importantly, why these three hows could be useful for you in order to mitigate all those optimization points which I named at the beginning. Therefore, it's an opportunity, to become more sustainable, because you will be having an optimized process, because you will be having a skilled person who potentially sits at your shop floor and involved in the day-to-day manufacturing. And additionally, you will have a benefit in terms of the improved quality. One of the things which I haven't mentioned today about the AI associated not only with the data, but with the quite powerful opportunities in terms of the image analysis, where some type of the defects or some type of the, let's say, predictive maintenance are not obvious for even for experienced people. Or if you have even a bit more junior person, and we are speaking right now in terms of the transition knowledge transfer, that's where AI could be a security thing. Therefore, yes, it is rather new for quite a lot of the SMEs. Yes, we do have a good share of the family-owned and transition type of the businesses with a very established type of the manufacturing, and AI for them will be a massive disruption. But it's not a disruption per se. It's mostly the analytical type of the exercise, which could help you to understand what and how could be changed in order to become efficient, sustainable, and resilient, and potentially looking into the changes associated with the couple of years needs around the circular economy principles implementation, around the green credentials, around the carbon border adjustment mechanism, where it doesn't matter how you've been doing it before, but you will need to know how your manufacturing will be reflecting to all those criteria, how green you are, how clean you are, how clear your reporting line in terms of the emissions, how efficient you are because you're using your energy, how transferable your technologies, can you switch from one production to another one. So all these changes, all these decision-making type of the actions could be driven by the really powerful analytical tool. Therefore, don't hesitate to ask questions: what and where could be done, what and where could be analyzed, how a few data sets correctly and properly collated could be used for a simple implementation. And it could be a staged approach. It doesn't need to make a revolution at your manufacturing. It could be around a single unit, it could be around a single department, it could be around a single person.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the traditional final question of the show, and I haven't gone back to check what you said 6 months ago, so I won't be comparing notes, but can you tell me what you've got planned for the next 12 months and what are your hopes?
Yeah, well, I'll answer this question in two parts. With regards to these AI developments and implementations, call-up projects will be going on. We now coming to an end of the first phase, which is ending in March, and it is an expectation which is so defined from D2D that we will be going to the second stage. Meaning that we will have an opportunity to tackle even more precisely to different range of the sectors. And as I was usually saying, we really sector agnostic. Every sector have their own priorities and needs, and that's where AI is really powerful. With regards to NMIS, we are looking towards the 5 strategic directions and sector-based, sector-driven type of a strategy associated with the defense, aerospace, semiconductors, and wind energy. And as you can see, potentially in those areas, we have quite a good concentration of the regional skills and regional factors. At the same time, it is very, very transferable type of the developments and innovations across the UK. Therefore, as we usually say, there are no wrong or not important questions for us. NMIS is a center which is aiming to implement the advanced manufacturing solutions, and one of the outputs and expectations is actually how you can optimize your strategies to have the best value retention type of the solution. Therefore, all those developments have been associated with the recycling, remanufacturing, and reuse type of the approaches, and how it could be combined with the current manufacturing strategies that being experienced by the industry, then how it could be digitalized and optimized in terms of the design and automation and robotization, and then in instance how it could be optimized using the digital data-driven type of the approaches. So that's, let's say, the stage by stage umbrella, if I could draw it in your minds and shaking my hands in the air. But that's the perspective which we will be planning to pursue, and of course many more.
Okay. Final question then, I guess. How can people find out more? How can people find out a bit more about NMIS, and how would people go about contacting yourself?
NMIS has a very good website, so all the contact details could be found over there. And we are vocal and public on the social media, so feel free to reach us via LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out me directly, and I will be your connection points with the particular departments or experts or engineers. I suppose the very important thing that we used to mention to the SMEs and bigger companies which are coming to us, NMIS is very good in establishing the networks and useful connections, and saying that we are instrumental in helping companies identify who are the correct and right at the time partners. What sort of funding could be considered at the current stages. We are helping companies to identify where is the bottleneck of the problem, so what needs to be decided and improved right now. And additionally, our membership model is also rather flexible, helping companies to become much more confident units of the manufacturing society, collaborating with the tier 2 and tier 1s, and become much more, let's say, powerful through those connections. So we are here, we are open. Any questions, any suggestions, please feel free to reach out either to me or the official contact points published on our website.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll wrap up the show with the usual words. So if you'd like to get in touch with the show with a comment, to make a suggestion, or particularly if you'd like to appear on a future episode, please email us at inquiries@mtdcnc.com or contact myself, Stuart Whitehead, or Joe Reynolds. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. From me, Mark Weymouth, Plus Automation. Cheers. Have fun.